If you did something wrong that nobody in the world could ever prove, would you still come forward and tell the truth? Hold on to that question, because a 10-year-old boy named Leo Navarro had to answer it. And the way he answered it changed everything. In a small town called Maplewood, there was an elementary school. And in that school, there was a hallway where behind a long glass case, there were trophies. And every single one of them had one name on the plaque: Navarro. Each alumni from the Navarro family had won one. Now, it was Leo's turn. But the problem was, Leo's science project itself. It was a disaster. He had 3 days left until the deadline, but his volcano refused to erupt. Meanwhile, 2 desks away from him, his best friend Mira Singh was building an extraordinary robot. Leo looked at her project. Then, he looked at his volcano. Then, he looked at the trophy case through the classroom window. And for the first time in his life, Leo Navarro felt the distance between where he was and where he needed to be. One day, Mira left her notebook on her desk to go get lunch. It was the day everything changed. Mira's notebook fell open to page 47, and there it was. 3 lines of equations, a small diagram of cloud formations, and a circled hypothesis in blue ink. A principle about atmospheric pressure. Leo copied it down. 3 lines, just the core of it. But without noticing, he left behind a small smudge in the bottom margin of page 47. Over the next 2 days, Leo built the most impressive project he had ever made. He painted it blue and silver. He added a small working barometer. He rehearsed his explanation in the bathroom mirror every morning. And it all worked perfectly, because it was Mira's idea. The science fair was everything you'd imagine. Parents with their phones out, recording everything. Leo's project sat at table 12. Mira's robot sat at table 13, right next to him, its little LED eyes blinking green. For the first hour, everything was perfect. Visitors stopped at Leo's table and said, "Wow." He smiled and explained to them about his project. But then, Dr. Reyes, the head judge, arrived. She stood at Leo's table and scribbled something on her clipboard. Then she moved to table 13. She looked at Mira's robot. Then she looked back at Leo's model. Then she looked at Leo. And she said, "Interesting."
Both of these projects share the same foundational principle. And in the back, Mr. Patel, Leo's teacher, watched the whole thing without moving a muscle. That evening, Mira sat at her desk and opened her notebook. Incidentally, she got to page 47 and saw the smudge. Mira stared at it and understood everything. She didn't say anything to anyone. She was lost in her own thoughts over dinner and didn't pay heed to anything like her little brother knocking over his glass. She just sat very still in the middle of it all, knowing. Meanwhile, across town, Mr. Patel was making a phone call to Dr. Reyes, because Mr. Patel had read every draft of every project proposal in his class, and he recognized an idea that had never appeared in Leo's proposal, but had appeared in Mira's. The next morning, before class began, Mr. Patel called Leo in. 2 chairs faced each other across a desk. On the desk, 2 documents, placed side by side. Leo's project proposal on the left, Mira's on the right. Mr. Patel sat down and asked Leo, "How did you arrive at the atmospheric pressure principle? Where did the idea come from?" Leo opened his mouth. Nothing came out, because he could explain what the principle did, but he could not explain where it had come from. Mr. Patel waited. In that silence, Leo felt the full weight of what he had done, not because he had been caught, but because the question he could not answer was proof that the trophy would never have truly belonged to him. He started to cry. Leo found Mira at recess, sitting alone on the school steps. He had a whole apology prepared. Mira looked up at him, and she said, "I know. I've known since last night." Leo blinked. He asked if she was angry. She said, "I am, but I'm also sad. If you had just asked, I would have helped you. We could have done it together." That landed harder than anything a punishment could have done. Leo sat down beside her on the steps, and he told her everything. The panic, the trophy, the 3 lines he had copied, the smudge he hadn't even known he'd left. He just told the truth, all of it. Mira listened, and when he was done, she opened her notebook to page 47, and she tore the page out and held it out to him. This is yours to deal with, not mine.
Leo walked into Mr. Patel's classroom and placed the torn page on his desk. He told the whole truth. He forfeited his entry from the science fair. He wrote a formal letter of apology to Mira and to Dr. Reyes. The trophy went to Mira Singh. It sat in her bedroom, next to her robot, next to her notebooks. She had earned every inch of it. But here is what no one expected. Dr. Reyes was so moved by Leo's confession and by the fact that he came forward himself without being forced, by his courage, that she made a phone call. She invited both Leo and Mira to present at the Regional Science Symposium, not as competitors, as collaborators. Leo and Mira spent the next month building something new, a project that was fully, equally, genuinely theirs. The weather model and the robot working together, predicting storm patterns. It didn't win a trophy, it won a grant. And in the hallway of Maplewood Elementary, right next to the trophy case with all the Navarro names, a new photograph went up on the bulletin board. 2 kids, 1 robot, 1 weather model. And behind them, on a whiteboard, circled in red marker, a single equation. Honesty plus courage equals everything that matters. Do you remember the question I asked you at the beginning? If you did something wrong, would you still come forward and tell the truth? Leo learned that the answer isn't really about what others can prove. It's about what you already know. Every shortcut has a cost. Every lie adds a variable you can't control. But the truth, like a perfect equation, always resolves cleanly in the end.